I'm psyched for the mailbag. This guy. What's going on, y'all? Rixon Lane. Avery Wilks, Garner Report, baseball, football writing extraordinaire. Check it out, GarnerReport.com. Here to answer your questions this week at Fastlane Sports on Twitter and at lanewusc@gmail.com. First one comes to us from Twitter from @BradPraisley. Nice. Can Ahmad Christian secure a starting spot with the Gamecocks on the diamond this season? You are the baseball expert. I will let you answer that one.
Well, Chad Holbrook, he said in a few press conferences that Ahmad could be the starter by the College World Series. He could be the starter by the postseason. He could even be the starter by February 15th when we kick off. Ahmad's very versatile as far as he can play second, he can play anywhere in the infield really, and he's been all over the outfield in spring practice so far. So don't expect him to be in the starting lineup yet, but expect him to get there soon.
6 hits in the first weekend scrimmage. I think
Absolutely.
I read that. 6 of 8 or 6 of 9. Gets a darn good pitching staff too.
The kid can fly too. I've been out there a couple times. He can really go.
Got that football speed.
It's fun to watch.
It's from Haley in Lexington. Would you rather have Joe Flacco or Colin Kaepernick for a last-minute drive?
That's a good one.
I know my answer to this one. Who would you take?
Well, Colin Kaepernick has obviously 9 games of starting experience. Played a while in college, but and Joe Flacco's he's got the long ball and everything, and the experience. But I'll have to go Colin Kaepernick because the Ravens haven't really seen too much of him, and I really like what he brings to the table with running, with the change in offense, with the option and everything. I think I'd take Colin Kaepernick in that situation.
I think I'd take Joe Flacco just for the experience sake, just because Colin Kaepernick, I don't know what he's going to do in the Super Bowl. I haven't seen him in too many big games. Joe Flacco's been pretty good in AFC Championship games. They really should have been to the Super Bowl last year, except for a missed field goal and a botched call at the end. So I take Joe Flacco just for experience sake. But Colin Kaepernick is scary.
I think you're all right with either guy.
I'm not complaining if I'm stuck with either one of them. This is from Les in Ridge Spring. So would you rather be an offensive or defensive coordinator, and what level would you want to coach at? So we can pick. I'd go defensive coordinator in high school because the fans are less crazy. I don't have to deal with Twitter death threats, and the downside would be working with 17-year-olds, but I think defensively you can be a little more nuts and get away with it. I think offensive guys
absolutely
have the spotlight on them, but I think defense you can be a little off kilter and get away with it. I go defensive coordinator, high school team. Yeah,
I think I would have to go offensive coordinator on a college team because the game's more spread out. It just seems like a lot more fun. There's when you play video games, no one wants to play defense. It's always like simulate till you get to play offense. But I think I'd love to be in command of a Texas Tech, Baylor type offense. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Plus you get to hold up the big old cars with Beyonce and Lee Corso on them.
Oh yeah, with the heads and everything like Oregon.
There you go.
A lot of fun.
This is from Jamal and Peelian. Which idea is worse, Roger Goodell giving the State of the NFL address in New Orleans or having the Super Bowl in New York?
Oh man, definitely the Super Bowl in New York.
I'd go Super Bowl in New York, but Roger Goodell giving the State of the NFL address in New Orleans is not the best idea.
They're not big fans of him.
He's persona non grata down there. But yeah, Super Bowl in New York. I can't even fathom what the conversation was like when they brought up that idea and who then supported it.
No, I can't imagine that either.
It's going to be miserable.
Idea.
It's going to be terrible. It's 7 degrees. It'll probably be snowing. The team, unless the Jets aren't going to go. The Giants probably aren't going to go. The teams that come in are going to be miserable for the entire 2 weeks they're there.
Yeah, it's like the Pinstripe Bowl earlier this year, played in Yankee Stadium, was snowing. Who wants to watch a game? Who wants to watch a Super Bowl in snow?
It'll be good for the fans the first week when they're there and you're just checking out New York. Yeah. But after that, no one's going to go to the game.
As far as the experience, New York might be a great place. But as far as the actual game and once kickoff starts, miserable.
Terrible idea. Slightly worse idea than Goodell down in the Bayou.
Just barely.
Jennifer in Florence. What's your prediction for a trending hashtag on Sunday night? Trending hashtag during the Super Bowl. I'm going to go with Flacco Sacco. Hashtag Flacco Sacco. Get on that, people. Sunday night. That would be my prediction.
Anything Ray Lewis oriented. Definitely. That's a tough one, actually.
Ray Lewis is crying again.
Yeah.
Might be one. From about the 3-minute mark in the fourth quarter on, I expect that to blow up. Win or lose.
Absolutely.
Give it a rest, man. We get it. You're emotional. We get it. This is from Vince in West Columbia. Draft your Super Bowl posse. I'm not gonna read these names out. I'm just gonna let you figure out who they are once we draft them. We got 8 names here that Vince has given us. I'll let you have the first round pick. Your Super Bowl posse. You're drafting 4 people.
Well, Vince, I've got to tell you, this is a pretty terrible group of people to choose from. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna have to go Christian Bale. He's one of them on here. I really like the guy. Batman was awesome. Big fan. We're gonna skip over Chris Brown because of his recent,
He's a character risk.
Yeah, Chris Brown. He's definitely a risk to have around if you don't want punches thrown.
So you got Christian Bale, your first rounder.
First round pick.
I would go. I'm taking Charlie Sheen as my first rounder, simply for just for the pure fact that Charlie Sheen in New Orleans, I could just end right there. I could end there, but I'm gonna go Charlie Sheen first rounder.
Yes, I thought about Charlie Sheen, but there's always a chance he never even makes it to the game. Let's see, Mel Gibson. That's got to be my second round pick. A little bit of a controversial character, but I really like The Patriot. I think it's the best movie ever.
So you've got Christian Bale and Mel Gibson. I'm gonna go Christina Aguilera.
Wow.
Second pick, simply because if you're rolling down to New Orleans for Super Bowl week and I'm with a group, we got to have at least one female. Otherwise, Sheen and me are going to be at each other's throats all night. You need somebody to decrease the tension. So I'll go Christina Aguilera as my second choice.
And for opposite reasons, I'll pick Lindsay Lohan for my third choice. Just to put some
terrible pick.
Just to put some entertainment in it. Yeah.
Have fun with that. Third rounder. See, now we're getting down to kind of the nitty gritty here. I'll take a chance. No, I won't. I was about to take a chance on Chris Brown. I'm not going to do that. I would go. Holy cow! There's nobody left on here I would want. I'll go Britney Spears. I'll go Britney Spears as my third pick. Just because the other 2 on here, I would not want to deal with all night, and I could probably tolerate her, and maybe her and Christina become friends, and they go off in a corner, and me and Sheen are just chilling. So I'm gonna go Britney Spears.
All right, so we've got Chris Brown and David Hasselhoff. So I guess I've got Chris Brown. I don't know. I mean, he seems like a fun guy. Why not?
You couldn't even convince yourself that was a good pick. You just tried to talk yourself into that.
It's still not. He's not something I want to be around.
So our Mr. Irrelevant is David Hasselhoff. That's my last pick. So my Super Bowl posse is Christina Aguilera, David Hasselhoff, Charlie Sheen, and Britney Spears. You have Christian Bale, Chris Brown, Mel Gibson, and Lindsay Lohan. I'm pretty sure you win that.
I think that's a miserable night for both.
That's not a great night for either one of us.
Absolutely.
That's brilliant, Vince. This one's from Chad in Lexington. If you were drafted by a pro football team, where would you not want to go? Where would you hold out from if you got drafted by an NFL team?
I think this one's pretty easy. Buffalo. No offense, Stephon Gilmore, CJ Spiller, any of these guys from South Carolina that somehow managed to survive there. But really, Buffalo, it's so cold. You're playing on a team that wins maybe 4 to 6 games per year. And if you're on defense, you're giving up 40 points a game, as we saw this year. But I mean, there's just no upside to going to Buffalo. Why would you want to?
I would go, and this is hard because there's a lot of positives, but I wouldn't go to Jacksonville, man. I wouldn't do it just because you're a second-rate citizen if you're on the Jaguars because you're not the Dolphins, you're not the Heat, you're not even the Miami Marlins. You're on a terrible team. Nobody goes to your games. I mean, I understand you wouldn't have to pay the income tax and the state tax and all that, but I would hold out Jacksonville.
You know, they went two games last year.
They're terrible.
And they're never on SportsCenter. Their highlights don't even show up on NFL Live. I mean, how's that even possible?
They're miserable. NFL 32 doesn't even cover them. They're just something
about the state of Florida. They're just not big on football. I don't
They're a disaster.
college football, sure, but
terrible. Jacksonville. Wouldn't go Jacksonville. What is the best Super Bowl commercial you've ever seen? It's from Robbie in Hopkins. I would have to go with the Denny's commercial that aired, I want to say it was the Super Bowl between the Cardinals and the Steelers. And it's the Denny's commercial, and it's the Cowboys at like the old diner. It's dark and dingy, and they're just sitting around talking about how all the cattle have died and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and then you see the waitress walk by, and the guy orders some of them chocolate doodiddles. And I look down, and his pancakes just got like gummy bears and whipped cream, and it's like a slam of IHOP, and then you got Burt Reynolds in the background. That was I will likely never forget that commercial. That's the best one I've ever seen.
I had completely forgotten about that one. Yeah, I remember that one now. Definitely the best one. I've discussed this with my roommates a bunch of times. The E-Trade commercials with the talking baby, where he gets in trouble for riding the dog, and then they've got him, put in the crib, and he still has his E-Trade app. That one's just always. I'll never forget that, honestly. So that's good advertising, because I remember E-Trade off the top of my head somehow.
I know people who that commercial freaks them the heck out. The talking baby commercials.
His voice is so low, it's insane.
But I have friends who just, it's like the talking baby is like on the level of like Garden Gnome and like clowns to them. It just weirds them out. I
also like any of the Doritos one. I think the competition that they do every year. There's somebody from South Carolina that entered it this year, but those are always pretty funny. I really like the dog one from last year.
We may have to revisit this one next couple of weeks if anything stands out.
Absolutely.
This one's from Cassandra in Little River. Biggest storyline this week: Ray Lewis, Chris Culliver, or Dan Marino?
So many storylines to choose from, even aside from these.
None of those are man. I don't know how. I'd have to say Chris Culliver, just because, the Ray Lewis stuff, he's spraying deer antler specimen under his tongue. That's a little weird, but he's, I get, yes, it's not good that you're using allegedly a banned substance by the NFL, but I think at this point, what are they going to suspend him? They're not going to suspend him for the Super Bowl. He's retiring. I don't really think that's as big a deal as people are making it out to be. The Dan Marino thing, what can you say? Had a love child with a CBS employee.
It happens.
Who among us hasn't gone through that and paid off somebody millions of dollars to keep it quiet? Chris Culliver, I think, just for the sheer, whether you agree with him or not, just the sheer idiot factor of you thought that the Super Bowl week was a good time to say something like that. I'm not getting into debate on whether he's right or wrong or whatever, but just the fact that you have a guy who, as in the biggest media circus of the year, thought that, what would be a really good time to say a really inflammatory remark this week.
Yeah, I have to go with you there. Dan Marino, that kind of thing with politicians, it comes up, it dies down. It was on Yahoo for a little while. People forget about that, just as if it really didn't happen, honestly. I don't think that really changes his perception as a quarterback. Maybe as, like a broadcaster or whatever, that kind of hurts him a little bit. I don't really think it's that big of a story. The Ray Lewis thing, that's obviously, he probably has the most hype coming into this week, other than the Harbaughs, obviously, but I definitely have to say Chris Culliver, especially because he comes from University of South Carolina, and he's, representing us in the NFL and everything. I really dislike the fact that he came out with that on this kind of stage, or even at all. If you look on Garnet Report, one of our top stories of this week was Randall Stewart's take on the whole thing, and how really insensitive and stereotypical his comments were.
So you did there, kids. It's called a plug. Learn about it in journalism school.
Working on it.
Culliver, both of us. Dan Marino's wife might disagree with you on the whole. It's not a big deal thing.
Yeah, I'm sure she's having a little bit of a rough few days.
That's going to be a fun week when he gets home. This one's from Courtney, last one out of Columbia. If you could pick anyone to sing the national anthem at the Super Bowl, who would you pick?
This one's easy.
Who?
Darius Rucker.
Darius Rucker.
He's the only person who has come to a stadium. I've heard the national anthem, I don't know how many times, in a stadium, whether it's minor league baseball, basketball, football, anything like that. Darius Rucker is the only person who's sung the national anthem, and I've wanted to sing along with him. I don't know what it is about his voice, but it seems like, there's a lot of diverse people. There's a lot of diversity in South Carolina, in the university. But if you play a Darius Rucker song, there is not a single person who will say, turn that. Everyone wants to hear it. Everyone loves Darius Rucker. He's probably the biggest alumni name to come out of this university. I'd love to hear him again. I've already heard him twice this year.
I'm a sucker for a barbershop quartet.
Ah, yeah.
Give me 4 guys with dulcet tones. I'm good.
Zach Brown Band. They did a great one for the national.
ZBB acapella at the national championship was pretty awesome.
It was incredible. Yeah.
Anybody singing acapella, I think if you got pipes where you don't need music, you're good enough for me. I'll see y'all. Show Monday, 8 to 10, GunReport.com. Check it out. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Peace.